Today I introduced legislation that will repeal the ban on cannabis for home cultivation, bringing Manitoba into line with 9 out of 10 provinces across Canada. Bill 34 establishes consistency with federal regulations that allow up to 4 cannabis plants per residence. The bill fulfills a commitment made by this government and will give Manitobans who are 19 years and older the option to grow cannabis rather than purchasing it from a licensed retail store. I want to emphasize that as we implement these changes, the safety of the public, and particularly of young people, is paramount. The repeal of the ban will take effect only after extensive consultations to develop the regulations we need to make sure that our children will stay safe and that our communities will not be impacted. We will be engaging with law enforcement, organizations like Wab Kinew, and other jurisdictions for their advice in this regard. Our government is taking a balanced, incremental approach. We're opening up new opportunities for Manitobans to grow cannabis at home, while also ensuring that it's done safely and it's done responsibly. I now want to introduce my colleague, Minister Simard.
Thank you, Minister Wiebe. We know that when legalization took place, that this was a new and emerging market. With all aspects of our work in liquor and lotteries, our primary concern is on ensuring to keep our communities and kids safe. And we want to make sure that people are accessing cannabis in a safe way. We want to keep it out of the hands of kids first and foremost. That's why, earlier today, Cabinet approved a directive that I will issue to the Board Chair of Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries to put a pause on issuing any new licenses for controlled access location in urban areas and cities. A controlled access location, unlike standalone stores, are not age restricted. There are currently a small number of these controlled access locations in places such as gas stations. And we have questions about whether we should be adding any more of these locations, specifically in urban areas where there is already a significant number of standalone stores serving the retail market. We want to make sure that as a province, we're making socially responsible choices. Widespread availability of cannabis outside of an age-restricted area is a concern, and we want to make sure we're balancing availability and social responsibility. That's why we're taking the time to pause issuing any new licenses, to do a review and to get this right. People would expect this on the liquor side, where we've always considered market viability and social impact of liquor retail licenses. And I want to provide clarity. We are not looking to bring cannabis sales under public ownership. That is not on our government's agenda. We are committed to working with our existing retail partners to ensure a continued focus on social responsibility. And just to wrap, we want to do a review of the market to ensure that we're getting this right. And that's what we're announcing today.
Great. Yep. Thank you very much, Minister Simard. So we're both available to answer any questions that you might have.
On the bill, I know you're going to consult on possible regulations, but are you looking at things in terms of regulations regarding secure storage inside the home and that sort of thing?
Yeah, we're going to be working closely with the LCGA to look at not only what the other jurisdictions across Canada have done, but to reach out to stakeholders, as I mentioned, Wab Kinew, the Manitoba Association of Chiefs of Police, who I had a conversation with this week to say, how can we work together? How can we be partners in developing good policy and making sure that ultimately our residences are safe with regards to access for children, but also that community as a whole are safe and that it's grown in a responsible way. They're going to be undertaking that work. We've asked them to prioritize this, and they're going to be moving forward on this quickly.
So what kind of things are you envisaging as as examples of what may be considered?
Well, ultimately, we want to, again, listen to our partners who have important insight into this. And again, we're the ninth out of 10 provinces to finally get moving on implementing this federal regulation. I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to be live to the issues presented by community groups, by law enforcement, to ensure we get it right, to make sure that we're listening and making sure that it's done and consumption is done in a responsible way.
Is enforcement of any regulations inside a home, is that a bit of a challenge? Because I hadn't heard of a lot of enforcement in terms of
Right.
people going into homes and seeing if there are plans to begin with, and if there are plans, are they following some sort of regulation?
Right. No, again, I think it's a matter of being responsible in how it's being grown and how it's being consumed, and ultimately, I think that's going to be the bar or the criteria that we're looking at. Obviously, if there's any kind of impact to folks living in a home, living in a community, living in a neighborhood, that's where we're gonna be partnering with our law enforcement partners to make sure that we're listening to how we can make sure that communities are safe.
Was anybody ever charged under the ban on homegrown?
Sorry, here in Manitoba, if they've been, we can get some background. I'm not sure if they have. Yeah.
Do you have any concerns based on, because you mentioned 8 other jurisdictions already have this?
Right.
Are there any concerns that have been raised in those other jurisdictions that is giving you some pause or some consideration? Because you mentioned you want to have discussion with stakeholders. Mm-hmm. So is there any issues in other provinces?
No, what we're looking at is being responsive to the to the stakeholders here in Manitoba. Again, I think it's important that we can learn from some of the experiences of other provinces, but ultimately what we want to do is make sure that we're listening to communities here, that we're listening to, again, law enforcement, to MAD, who has a stake in the impaired driving side to ensure that people are consuming and growing responsibly. These are the stakeholders that we're going to be leaning on, and we've gotten assurances from them that they want to be partners in developing this, and the LCGA has the tools and has the ability to get these regulations right.
There's a lawsuit against the province around its rules. Did that influence your decision?
Yeah, I would say that it certainly brought the bill forward in the legislature in terms of coming forward in this spring, but it was a commitment that we made, and you've heard the Premier make around opening up options for people in Manitoba. And homegrown is one of those when it comes to cannabis. So, it was a campaign commitment that we moved forward on, but ultimately it was, the timing of it, the court case, certainly part of the equation for sure.
So that's why it came up as early as it did. Yes.
Well, I'm just to say that I know that the court case is outstanding and that is before the courts. So what I'll just say is that it was a commitment, and that's why we're moving forward on this.
Can you talk a little bit more about the directive from Cabinet earlier today?
Yeah.
Just about how many retailers or places sell cannabis outside of age-restricted?
Yeah, well, what I can say is that we're committed to making sure that all cannabis is sold in a socially responsible way. I can say that there are currently some controlled access locations here in Manitoba, namely 11. We are not putting a pause on their operations. We are putting a pause and a review on any future expansion of controlled access sites here in Manitoba, in urban areas.
So those 11 you said were gas stations?
I don't have the specifics on for that for you, but it is something that we are making sure that we get right going forward, and that's what we're focused on. We're focused on keeping cannabis out of the hands of children, and we feel that at this point in time, age-restricted stores that offer that service are right now the best option, but we will pause and get this right.
What evidence do you have that these controlled access stores are leading to more concerns like this?
That's not what I said, but I can assert is that age-restricted stores are certainly making sure that young kids aren't going in and accessing that, and we'll continue with that while we pause and review the controlled access piece.
But why are you reviewing the controlled
Well,
Why is that giving you?
Sure. As I said earlier, we have a number of cannabis stores and retailers across Manitoba, especially in Winnipeg. You can drive down the street and find a reputable, age-restricted store that you can access your cannabis. So that's what our focus is on at this moment. But with the pause and controlled access, we're making sure that we do a review and we get it right.
Why do you want to do a review? Yeah, I guess, I mean, why do you want to do a review of controlled access? Like, is there, I understand you're confident in the safety of the restrictions, so are you saying you're not confident or have some concerns
Well,
about controlled access?
yeah, we have questions as to whether or not we should be adding more of these locations, specifically in urban areas. And that's what we're doing with the pause and review. The pause isn't coming permanent. We're reviewing to see if this is the path forward in a socially responsible way.
Sorry, where are the 11 that are age controlled? Are they, you said urban areas and where?
Yeah, there's 11 in urban area and 3 outside of Winnipeg in rural areas. And those will continue to operate as they always have.
And why allow that? If there are concerns, why allow that?
Why allow?
Why continue to allow that?
No, what I was saying earlier, the concerns are that we are putting a pause and we are going to review.
Are there currently these types of locations asking for a license? Are there some in the queue that are being paused, or is this just sort of telling people don't bother applying for now?
No, we can get that information for you, but there are there are people in the queue. We are putting a pause on that today, and we will continue with our review to make sure that we get this right. That's what we are doing today.
And the government is not going to set a limit on standalone stores in any way. We've seen a proliferation of them, but you're going to let the market sort
Well,
itself out there?
what I can say is that we do have a cap on how many stores can be owned by one owner. That's at 15% of the market. So with 200 stores, that's 30 stores that one person could own. And as for a business case for a standalone age-restricted store to operate, that's for the entrepreneur to decide, given the current context.
All right. Anything else? No?
Yeah, one more
Oh.
question. You offered earlier, Mr. Smart, that you're not looking at sort of public sales of cannabis. There have been some people who said, well, why not, liquor stores are a controlled environment, show my driver's license to get in. There's very good security in a lot of liquor stores. Why is the government not offering cannabis sales inside liquor stores?
Well, we're going to operate in the market as it existed when it was new and emerging, and we're committed to continuing to work with our existing partners.
Awesome. Thanks very much,
Thank you very
everybody.
Okay, good to go. To begin, could you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Jesse Lavoy. I'm the founder of homegrown.
So now what happens with your lawsuit?
Well, very grateful that the NDP kept their word today to introduce legislation to drop the ban. So now we will file an adjournment from our side as we are the aggressor of the lawsuit, which means it'll be put on pause until the bill is passed.
When do you anticipate doing that?
I'm going to meet with my lawyers tomorrow and hoping to have that filed next week.
So I guess what does it mean to you? I mean, you've been fighting this for a couple of years to have this moment where it looks like it's almost done.
It's surreal to say the least. It's been 4 years of the actual lawsuit itself and 6 years of prep. So it's been, words cannot express how I feel today.
Were there a lot of people charged under the ban? I mean, I know the ban's there, and obviously it's hanging over people's heads, but it seems like the kind of thing that would be tough to enforce.
Yes, so to our knowledge, there's only been one ticket issued, and to your point, the fear of a $100,000 fine, having your home taken away, and 1 year in jail has definitely kept a lot of people from growing cannabis up until now.
What do you anticipate the market will be for homegrown cultivation once it becomes legal?
What's nice is we have 6 years worth of data for other provinces that have allowed these home grow and sale of seeds. Those provinces continue to see growth in their recreational sales. So I don't think there'll be a drop in sales here. I think there'll be a new market, new community. People can grow strains, work together to, have better results next time, gift to each other, etc.
In terms of those discussions with stakeholders that are going to happen, if you're part of those discussions, what would you recommend that to allow this to happen, but in a safe way?
I think the big thing will be condos and apartments. So I would implore all owners of those buildings to do proper research before just coming to a, no, you can't grow in here. If you think about it, one shower produces more humidity than an entire harvest from plants can do. Plus there's electronics inside your bathroom that are being touched by that humidity. So a lot more damage can be done from that than growing 4 plants.
I guess I should ask, with the lawsuit and the appeal, this is money that's been taken out of your pocket, right? How much did this cause? What was the financial cost of this to you?
So after preparing our appeal documents, our total over the last 4 years has been $140,000. We've raised over $50,000 through fundraisers. The rest has come from myself personally.
And you don't get that money back?
That is a sacrifice of this path, but it's a sacrifice well worth it.
Maybe I'll just ask on the controlled access, you just heard here a moratorium on additional controlled access. As a cannabis advocate, do you support that move?
I support the move that defends the investment that a lot of mom and pops have put into building a full-out cannabis store. To have a gas station across the street put a small box inside their store, that kind of defeats the whole investment that mom and pop has made. So that's who I stand with.
So that would be the age-restricted stores?
Correct.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.